welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a challenge that, let's be honest, almost everyone faces at some point. You start a new job, you're full of great ideas, and then you hit a wall of conflict and resistance. We're going to break down some really fascinating philosophical advice on how to turn all that friction into a powerful tool for your own growth.
Okay, let's get right into this because, who hasn't felt this way, right? The source for today's explainer starts with a professional in this exact spot. They were hired specifically for their expertise, but found themselves totally stuck between a team that didn't want to change and leadership that had huge expectations. So, what are you supposed to do when it feels like you're being set up to fail?
First up, let's really paint a clear picture of the scenario. It's a classic catch-22, and I'm sure it's one that many of us will recognize instantly.
So, picture this. You're brought in to elevate the work, right? But the team, they just want to stick to the old, cheaper ways of doing things. At the very same time, your boss is demanding world-class results, but without a world-class budget. And you're the one stuck right in the middle trying to manage these completely impossible expectations. It is totally overwhelming.
But here's where the whole perspective starts to shift in a really cool way. This situation, it's not just a bump in the road or a bit of bad luck. It's a test. See, all the skills, all the patience, all the wisdom you've been developing, or, should have been developing, are now being put to the test in a real-world scenario. This isn't just a problem. It's basically the final exam.
And this is the part where we're asked to completely reframe the entire situation. If this whole conflict is a test, then your difficult workplace, well, it isn't the enemy. It's actually your classroom.
And that brings us to this powerful idea called the modern exile. Think about it. In ancient times, a king might banish an official from the court to teach them a lesson. Well, today, life itself does the banishing. It sends you to a difficult project, or a tough team, or a frustrating job, not to punish you, but to force you to stop and finally learn something really important you might have been avoiding.
So here's the crucial point. You have a choice. You can go down the path of blame, pointing fingers at your stubborn colleagues or your demanding boss, which, let's be real, only leads to more frustration. Or you can choose the path of study. You can ask the most important question of all. What's the curriculum here? What am I actually supposed to be learning from this?
Okay, so if your job is a classroom, what's on the syllabus? What's the main subject? Well, it all boils down to one incredibly important and often really misunderstood concept.
This is it. This is the absolute heart of your modern exile. The way forward isn't about fighting harder or proving you're right or pushing your ideas more aggressively. No. The key is to stop talking and start listening with the kind of disciplined intention.
And hey, this doesn't just mean nodding along while you wait for your turn to talk. It means actively absorbing what everyone is saying, from the newest intern all the way up to the CEO. Why are they resisting? What are they afraid of? What kind of pressure are they under? Every single opinion, even one that seems totally off base, contains a valuable piece of data. It's a piece you need to solve the puzzle.
And this number, this 70%, it just brilliantly illustrates the goal of all that listening. See, you're not just doing it to be polite. You are collecting information until you reach a critical mass, what the source calls a wisdom threshold. The idea is that once you have genuinely understood about 70% of the situation from all the different angles, the right path forward stops being a mystery. The answer will just emerge.
Okay, so that sounds great in theory, but how do you actually do it? How does this work in the real world? Let's get practical and see how this builds into a concrete action plan that you can actually use.
So this isn't about calling some huge, chaotic, all-hands meeting. No, it's a very structured, methodical process. You start by consulting the person who reports directly to you. Then, you take what you learned from them and you go to the next person down the line. By following the hierarchy like this, you show respect for the structure and for each person in it. You're not going over anyone's head. You're building trust from the ground up.
So, why does mastering all of this matter beyond just solving one tricky project? This is where we zoom out and see how this very human skill connects to our place in the entire future of work.
Look, artificial intelligence is becoming the undisputed master of knowledge. It can process data, it can recall facts, and it can analyze information way faster than any human ever could. But the one thing it can't do, it can't generate true wisdom. That unique ability to navigate complex human emotions and motivations and relationships to find brand new solutions. That, right there, is our territory. So, all those frustrating office conflicts, they are not a distraction from your real job. They are your real job.
Every disagreement is a rep. Every difficult conversation is a set. Think of your workplace as the gym where you train your wisdom muscle. It's the training ground for developing the one skill that is only going to become more and more valuable in a world dominated by AI, human wisdom.
And that's really the essential question to leave you with. Take a look at the biggest, most annoying challenge on your plate right now. Instead of seeing it as just a roadblock, ask yourself, what's the lesson here? What curriculum has my modern exile prepared for me today? Because finding that answer, well, that could change absolutely everything.